A nuclear war between India and Pakistan wouldn't just devastate South Asia, it would plunge the entire world into chaos. Millions would die instantly. Global famine could follow, economies would collapse, and the climate itself might change forever. This is what science tells us would happen if two nuclear-armed rivals unleash their arsenals on each other. Within minutes of the first missiles launching, major cities in India and Pakistan would be obliterated. Each warhead could kill hundreds of thousands instantly. Firestorms would rage, reducing skyscrapers to ash. Hospitals, power grids, and governments would collapse. Survivors would face radiation poisoning, burns, and no escape.
Even a limited nuclear exchange could involve 50 to 100 warheads. The death toll? Between 50 to 125 million people in the first week alone.
But the horror doesn't stop at the blast zones. The fires would send millions of tons of soot into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight. Global temperatures could plummet by 2 to 5 degrees Celsius, triggering a nuclear winter. Crops would fail. Food shortages would spread worldwide.
Even a regional war could disrupt monsoons, destroy agriculture, and cause mass starvation. We're talking about billions at risk of famine.
The global economy would nosedive, stock markets would crash, supply chains already fragile would collapse, oil prices would skyrocket, unemployment would surge. The world could enter a depression worse than the 1930s.
A nuclear war in South Asia could wipe out trillions from the global GDP. Recovery could take decades, if it happens at all.
Sir, no, sir!
Millions of survivors would flee, creating the worst refugee crisis in history. Neighboring countries like China, Iran, and Bangladesh could be drawn into the conflict. And if other nuclear powers, like the US or Russia, get involved, the war could go global.
The risk of a wider nuclear war would be terrifyingly high. Once the first missile flies, no one can predict where it ends.
Years later, the world would still be reeling, radiation would linger, cancer rates would soar, ecosystems could collapse, and the psychological trauma, generations would carry the scars of a war that should never have happened. Humanity has avoided nuclear war for 80 years, not because of luck, but because leaders understood the stakes. If that restraint ever fails, the consequences are unthinkable. The lesson is clear. Nuclear war isn't just a regional tragedy, it's a global catastrophe. The only way to prevent it is through diplomacy, de-escalation, and a commitment to peace before it's too late. This was the Global Gist. The future is in our hands. Stay informed, stay vigilant.